Hey guys, I'm gonna do a tutorial for a like a ripped throat, and you can do other things with it afterwards. I'm going to use this little collar I got here, like stitches around my neck, so it kind of looks like I'm trying to sew myself back together. Whatever. It's just something extra I'm adding. But we're gonna see how this works out. What you need is you need either some liquid latex or some kind of skin adhesive. I just used flour and water. If you mix it together, it's like glue, like when you're a kid making papier mâché. And it's non-toxic and it's safe and it'll come off, which is good. And it's also cheap. I didn't spend $20 on liquid latex. I also need some fake blood, and I'm using some chocolate syrup. I'll tell you why later. And then maybe if you want to darken things up, like some black paint, which I have somewhere around, and some skin color paint, or I have like my concealer, which I'm going to use. And then toilet paper. That's also the most important part. And what you're going to want to do for that kind of torn, burnt, wrinkly skin kind of look, you're going to take a piece of toilet paper and rip it up. Usually, it depends how big the area is. If you're doing a big area, you can use one full sheet. If not, I'm ripping mine into two smaller pieces and then crumpling them up, just get them all wrinkly, and then unfolding them so you kind of get like that nice texture. And you can also play with it and kind of make it a little more bunchy if you want. Yeah, that's about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is trace out the area that I want to put this effect to. So I'm going to take my eyeliner, and I'm just going to kind of measure the thickness. So I just want to have like a little cut, kind of like someone went after me with a knife. And I'm going to kind of trace a basic kind of outline. And if I go a little bit outside of it, that's fine. And I think the most important part about this whole entire effect is just not being afraid to be messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's going to be a hard one for me because I like things to be perfect. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my glue. If you don't know how to make flour and water glue, it's just flour and water. And you want to make it so it's just not too runny but not too thick either. You just mix the two together, that's all it is. Any kind of flour, hot water, cold water, doesn't matter. And now I'm just going to put this on my neck. It's going to be cold, but that's okay. Right, and if some of it, like drips down your neck or spills or something, that's okay. If you get it on your clothes, it'll come out real easy, because it's only flour and water. And then you take your crumpled toilet paper, unfold it, and then just stick it on. And then do the same thing to the next piece. You can kind of bunch it together, make some wrinkles. And another piece. And I'm going to rip this because it's too much. Alright, and then you're going to put a little more of the glue over the top of it, just to kind of make it stick. As you can see, some of it's already coming apart, and that's fine, like it's tearing. Some of it comes off, and just whatever. If you don't like it, rip it off. Ooh, it's a little bit much. Because you can always put on more or take off more, whatever you feel like. But just try and get some glue on. Make it really stick, especially if you're going to be out all night like I am. And you want to kind of get the edges down just so you can blend it a little better when your effect is finished. And then basically just kind of touch it up, do a little bit of final shaping if you want, like, making it chunkier or having little pieces hang down, whatever you feel like. I'm going to kind of make mine go a little bit together at the edges there. Alright, and that's all I'm going to do for now. And then you need to wait about 10 minutes for it to dry. Or you can just take a hairdryer to it to get it to go faster, whatever you feel like. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be back. Bye, guys. Okay, guys, so I'm back, and my neck is dry now. One thing I forgot to mention, too, if you want to apply more on top, it's kind of easier to take your piece of toilet paper and then brush the glue mixture onto it as opposed to brushing it on your neck. That just depends on the thickness of the tissue paper that you're using, but it's kind of easier to handle that way. Anyways, so I'm back, and everything's dry. I'm going to try and show you a close-up here. As you can see, there's like a lot of like little flaps and just kind of gross little pieces and things, and that's it's really cool. It's kind of what we want. So, put this back. Now basically what you want to do is you want to do your lightest color first. So that's going to be like your blood color. Well, I shouldn't say it's your lightest, but trust me, just do the blood first, okay? So I'm going to take my fake blood, and now the problem with fake blood, as we all know, is it looks pretty fake. So what I had heard, and it was actually a really great idea, was to put a little bit of chocolate syrup into your blood. And that way it'll not only make it a little thicker, a little gooier, make it stay a little wetter, longer kind of thing, so it kind of has that fresh look to it. So there you go, I'm just adding a couple drops and then I'm eating the rest because it's delicious. I want chocolate milk now. Yum. And make sure my paintbrush is dry. And if you don't have a paintbrush, you can use like Q-tips or you can use sponges. I just have a lot of paintbrushes, so that's what I'm deciding to use. And now I'm mixing up my blood and my chocolate syrup in a little container. You can use a plate, napkin, whatever you want. And now I'm just going to put this on everywhere, basically on my neck. I'm going to try not to get any on the floor. And again, if it's a little messy, that's okay. You can always go over it and take it off or add some more. Oh, you can't take it off your neck piece, but if it drips down your neck, then that's okay because you can take it off after. And you want to make sure you get all those little bits and pieces because you don't really want any white. And if the paint's pushing down some of your flaps and things like that, don't worry, you can always put them back up after. You want to try and get the underside and the over top as well. Again, just so you don't have that white tissue paper showing. And I need to make some more. But so far you can kind of see it's looking pretty nasty. And it's not that ridiculous red color. It's actually a nice deep, like I have a huge wound kind of color. I'm already starting to get creeped out by how gross this looks. I love Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. And I usually don't do the gory thing. I'm going to be honest, this is actually the first time I've ever done anything gory that is hopefully going to turn out. So now this piece right here is falling down a lot more than I wanted it to. So I'm just going to take my finger, push it back up, and you'll still feel that it's still sticky from the flour because that's what's going to happen with that flour glue that you have. Is once it gets wet, it'll get sticky again. So again, after I put on all this blood, I am going to blow dry it just to kind of give it a little more stiffness for now because it might not look as realistic, but like I said, I'm going to be out all night and I just want it to look good for the whole night, not just, you know, for the 5 minutes I'm going to take pictures. Alright. I think I got everything. There's still some white on my neck, but that's just mostly flour, I think. I'm going to kind of taper this off just a little bit. And this side too. And then we can totally add drips later. Okay, so I'm going to do a close-up here before I leave you again. But here we go. My gross neck with like little bits and pieces hanging down. And okay, I'm going to go blow dry this. and then we'll be back again for the next part. Okay, bye guys. Alright, I'm back. And now I'm going to take the next step just to kind of darken up certain areas and then lighten up certain areas. You can still see a little bit of the flower is still stuck to my neck, but that's good because it actually kind of adds a little bit of texture, so I can go over that again with my concealer, or if I want to do more blood. But for now I'm going to darken it up. I'm just using a black cream makeup, just like a face paint. And I'm going to mix it with a little bit of water just so I can apply it a little bit more easily. Not too much water though, because then it'll just run everywhere and we don't want that. We kind of want it to stick. And you're going to try and put this kind of like in the areas where it seems like it would be like a little bit deeper. See, already I put a little too much. Yeah, I got too much on here already. So I'm going to rinse some of that off. Try and smooth it out a little. There we go, blend it in. What I just did there is I rinsed off the paint from my paintbrush. And I'm just using water on my paintbrush to kind of smooth it out, blend it in. Kind of more in the center. If you have any big pieces, you kind of want to put the dark under it a little. Like under here. Gross. Alright, and that's about all I want to do for that because I don't want to make it too dark. So I'm going to rinse this out. And then I'm going to go back with fake blood. And this time I'm not going to mix the chocolate syrup with the fake blood because I do want a little bit more vibrant. So if you want, you can just, because this is the part where we're going to get a little bit messy, where I kind of want it to do some drips and stuff. So if you have something in a squeeze bottle, you can just squeeze it on your neck, let it run down. But like I said, I am way too much of a perfectionist, and that would just drive me nuts just to do it like that. So I'm going to use this. Just kind of apply it wherever you need to. And make sure I get a little bit more blood on the top here. Smear it around a little. And now's a chance where you kind of can get all those little white spots that are still left over. And like I said, you can make some drips. You can at least attempt to make some drips. There we go. And watch out, fake blood does stain, usually. So, if you're wearing something nice that you don't want to get dirty, then I suggest you not do this. Can we get another drip? Maybe not. And you can just kind of go into and make it a little bit messier down at the bottom because it's the way your blood's going to drip naturally. And again, you can kind of push it in or take it out, whatever you feel like. For the toilet paper, tissue paper, same difference. But you can see this is a much more vibrant kind of red, which is why not everyone uses it. Because it looks really fake, so if you add the chocolate syrup, it looks a lot better. I'm going to kind of take this and just smear it a little bit too. Maybe a little more. Not so perfect. Because Gore isn't pretty, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. I'm going to go in with a little chocolate syrup and darken it up. I'm just going with this darker blood. Getting a little darker. I don't know if you can really see it on the screen, but in real life it looks a lot nicer. Alright, so now I'm done with that. I think before I add the concealer, I'm going to give it another quick blow dry. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so this is it for now, and I'm going to come back and do the final step with you guys, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so I gave it a quick blow dry again, and here's a close-up, just so you can kind of see. I don't know how good the light is, so I'm going to turn around here. Hopefully that will make it a little better. But yeah, there you can see it's pretty gross and really cool, actually. Yeah, so just a couple final touches. I just want to put it into my skin color a little more, especially around the top edges here. So I'm just taking my concealer, any concealer that matches your skin color. Or you use paint, or again, liquid latex. You might have to dye that depending on your skin tone. And I'm just going to put just a little bit on my finger, and I'm just kind of taking my brush very lightly. I just want to kind of go along the top. Almost like if you're an artist, dry brushing. So you just kind of want to go over some of the little creases and crinkles and just kind of get the surface of it. You don't want to dig into it. You just want to apply it very lightly. I don't know if you can see that. I know the lighting's not the best in here. I know I'm sitting kind of far away because I'm using my netbook right now. I actually don't have a webcam that works. So this is as good as it gets, folks. One day I'll have something better. I can do a better tutorial. Alright, so you can see how it's lightening up though. So it just kind of looks a little bit more like I've ripped my skin and there's like little chunks of skin here and there. I'm going to do this a bit more. I just wanted to do it mostly at the top, kind of around the edges. Maybe a couple little pieces here and there that are kind of hanging down. Like my skin got a little tore up. Ew, there's a piece that just flopped over when I touched it. That was disgusting. Oh, that's so disgusting. This has got to be the coolest thing I've done, makeup-wise anyway. Last year, I was a unicorn. And the year before that, I was a satyr. Which is like, for all you Narnia fans, I was like Mr. Tumnus. And the year before that, I think I was Sailor Mercury. So I'm really not into the Gore costumes, but I definitely think they're cool. And this is for a last minute costume. I'm being a Quidditch player this year for Halloween from Harry Potter. But we had this party we were going to last minute, and I wanted to do something a little more disgusting and gory, because I don't like wearing the same thing twice. So this works. Alright, so I'm going to try and get a close-up picture here. So as you can see, hopefully, there's like little pieces of ripped skin now, and the toilet paper just kind of gave it that good texture, like my skin's been pulled and ripped, and you can take it and touch it and do whatever you want with it afterwards. I like it the way it is though. But there you go, that's pretty much it. I have a little bit of blood up here that I don't particularly like, but oh look, it's coming off. That's good. Yeah, so you can always kind of go back and polish it up if you're patient and you have tiny fingers, I guess. But yeah, so there's my pretty much finished ripped throat effect. And take my necklace, which is already falling apart. So it happens when I only pay $3 for it, $2, whatever it was. And I'm going to kind of put it in the middle. So it looks like someone's tried to stitch me up. Alright, so I'm going to stand up for a second here and try and get you guys some better light. Alright, so there it is. There's my ripped, bloody neck. And then before you go out, you can always put some more fresh blood on it if you want, to make it stick out a little more shiny and gory and cool. Alright, that's it guys. Thanks a lot.